How's everyone doing? Hope everything's going awesome today and that you guys are just vibing and feeling it on a Wednesday. It's hump day, right? Hopefully everyone's not feeling like it's hump day and you're ready for the weekend. Hopefully you're just striving every day to just to have an awesome day. So I'm a little late getting this out. Wanted to do it right away though. I actually filmed it previously and did not love. My quality of filming needs to be upgraded for sure. Like quality of audio and video. I really want to upgrade my skill level in recording video and in creating content that's valuable to my clients, to people I work with. These videos aren't just for me. They help me because I do more study, I do more research, I make sure I solidify what I'm talking about beforehand and what I enjoy, or I solidify my preferences and my experiences. I really consolidate what I know about the subject and break it down a little more so that I can speak to it. Speak to the subject a little bit. Today I want to talk about something that over the last couple of weeks I've had a couple experiences that let's just say I've been annoyed. I'll just say that I've been annoyed with with some folks, and it's not any clients. This had to do actually with selling a random product. So when you're selling something, there are some different tactics you can use, and there's some keys to getting the most money for your product that you're selling and to actually sell it. There's no point in selling something if you're not willing to price it for the right, price it for what it's worth so it'll sell. There's no point in selling something if you're not willing to put it out there where people will see it. And there's just no point in taking time to even think about selling something if you're not willing to take the right steps to get it sold. Am I right? I'm right, right? I think I'm right. My experience with real estate has helped me a lot understand just the value in making sure you're using the right tactics to sell something in general, not just real estate. The tips I'm gonna share. So I'm gonna share tips. We'll talk about a few things. They apply to anything you plan to sell. This applies to. So I want to just speak on that for a minute and give you all my thoughts just on some of the biggest, what I feel are some of the biggest keys to getting something sold. So let's just jump right into it. I've got 5 or 6 different things that I want to talk about that I think are keys to it. Number one is price. And actually before we do that, let's talk about definitions. What is a buyer? What is a seller? Because often we confuse what they are, or we don't understand fully what they are. So a seller, and once I say this, it's going to be super simple, and maybe you're way ahead of what I'm saying and you already know it, but we'll say it real fast anyway. So a seller is someone who has a product of value that is desired by somebody else, and it's a product you're actually willing to sell. A seller is not someone who has a sky-high price in their mind. You're not a true seller. If you're trying to sell, let's just take an example of a pair of shoes. Let's just do this real quick example, and we can reference back to it. Say that you've got a brand new pair of shoes, you've kept it past the return date, and you no longer want the shoes. Maybe they don't fit, they're not your style, whatever it is. They're in brand new condition, right? They're pristine. They've been out of the box twice. You've worn them around the house. You've got the box. You've got everything. And you want to sell that sucker for the exact same price as the store. Someone else can go to the store and buy it for the same price. And in a way, when you first think about it, that can make sense because they're just as valuable as a pair of shoes that you buy from the store, right? So you've got a pair of Nikes. I'm actually reading The Shoe Dog. I read half of it a while ago. I'm finishing it. It's about the creator of Buck, the creator of Nike. So you've got a sweet pair of Nikes, right? Brand new. You want to sell these suckers, and they're just as good. The quality. They're in just as good a shape as something from the store. Therefore, the same value. Wrong, right? And if you're trying to sell it for the same price, you're only going to sell it to someone who, quite frankly, is foolish. Because if they're going to pay, maybe they just don't know what they're worth really, and so they're willing to spend more than they're really worth. The reality is that you're not creating the same value. That product is not as valuable as shoes from the store. Someone can go to the store because number one, you're getting it's customer service that you may provide a nice atmosphere in your home. You may provide a good good communication back and forth. You may even say, hey, if you don't love them after you try them, I'll take them back or whatever. You may even do that. But the truth is that you don't provide the same warranty. You don't provide the same long-term service that Nike will, or that the store you bought them from will. And so you are not providing the same value. initially it may be perceived so, and maybe you feel so. I know when folks, you upgrade your vehicle, you make some, you remodel your home, or you put new carpet in, and all of a sudden you feel it's got to be worth more. The value of a product is not what you put into it, it's what a buyer's willing to pay for it. And the reality is, as a buyer, I'm not, a smart buyer is not going to spend the same amount on a product from you as a third party buyer than they could as the first person buyer, right? They're going straight to the direct dealer and buy Nike straight from Nike. They're going to buy it from Nike for that price. They're not going to buy it from you. It's just not going to happen. And so, if you're not willing to price accordingly, if you're not willing to put your product, these pair of shoes, maybe you're going to price it right, but you're not willing to put it out. You're just going to throw, you're going to put them out. I don't know, what do you do now besides online? There's not much else besides online. So if you're going to just pass it around word of mouth, I'm going to sell these shoes, you might get a seller one day, or buyer one day. The reality is, you're not a real seller if you're not willing to put the shoes online somewhere. You're not willing to put the shoes where they're going to sell. Are you a real seller? You don't really intend to sell. If it happens, great. If not, great. There's just not real intention to sell. So I guess a key to this definition of sellers, and we're going to go into buyers, is intention. True intention. Do you truly intend to sell? So you're a seller if you intend to, and you take action on that intention. So you're going to post it where it matters, and we're going to get KSL classifieds here in Utah. Facebook Marketplace. You're going to go Let Go. There's a whole bunch of other classified style selling platforms online that are actually way better than KSL. Sorry, KSL. I love KSL. It's just there's a lot more going on now. And using all of those platforms, you're going to sell stuff a lot quicker if you're priced right, if you're out there. And everything I'm going to talk about can apply to these, but just so you understand, that's a seller, someone who will price it right and someone who's willing to put it out there. Vice versa, a buyer. What is a buyer? A buyer is someone who's actually willing to purchase your product. They have a desire, they're responsible, they're a decision maker, so they can make a decision, they want your product, and they financially are capable. A buyer is not just someone who has interest in buying a home one day, or maybe your goal this year is to buy a home in 2020. You may be a prospective buyer, you're a future buyer. When you're capable of actually buying the home and you're desiring to and you're ready to actually purchase the home, that's when you become a buyer. And that changes for each property. When you're talking real estate, if you're selling a home for $300,000 and you've got these folks looking at it and their budget's $250,000, are they truly a buyer for you? They're not. They don't count for you as a buyer. So as you are marketing, you've got to market to buyers that match your price range. You've got to focus on those people. And while they may be a buyer for a home somewhere, they're not a buyer for your property or your for your exact product. So, pricing things right and getting someone there. So, first thing, that's kind of definitions of sellers and buyers, and a roundabout way, talking and jabbing. First key to selling something is pricing it right. And I know a lot of people, when I'm talking real estate with folks, what can I do to market my home is a question that often comes up. The reality is that the number one thing you can do to attract buyers that are capable of purchasing your home is by pricing it properly. If you're pricing it too high, you're going to miss out on the buyers that are actually capable of buying your home. And obviously you don't want to undersell yourself, right? You don't want to price it too low. So we're not going to price it too low. Otherwise you're going to sell it to an investor or somebody, which is fine, that you're going to miss out on possible equity and possible returns on that property. So pricing the home properly is a huge key in you getting enough money for your home, and not just getting enough, but actually finding someone to buy it. If you don't price it right, it's not going to sell. Number two, there's a couple that are kind of neck and neck. Number two, I would say, is where you do post it, though. Like where are you putting this home? Are you just putting a sign in the yard? And I know that some folks selling their home on their own, that's been a tactic, and it does work. You can sell your home by just putting a sign in the yard. That can work. And some agents, I've seen that where, we just put a sign in the yard and we'll kind of pray. That's what it's kind of the phrase that's used. You put a sign out there and you pray that someone will come by and buy the home. So where you post your home matters. There are a few online platforms in today's world that are massively successful in selling properties. The number one is the MLS in your local area. So wherever you're at, using the MLS is the most powerful tool for selling online. And let's face it, online's the most powerful tool, period, for selling your property or selling anything, because you can reach so many people without, flyers are great. They're a good little energy builder. Possibly you're going to find a buyer for a property, it's really about the online marketing, because you're trying not just to attract anybody to look at your home. When I do open houses, we can throw out flyers, and you may attract a lot of folks from the neighborhood. They're not truly buyers, though. They're looky-loos. They're trying to compare. Let's look at prices. I want to see what your home is compared to my home. I know the price. Let's walk through, see the condition, and see what the true value is between our homes. They're not truly a buyer. And so when you get online, you truly have the opportunity to market towards those that are a buyer, that are actually looking for a home like yours. So number one, price right. Number two, you've got to post it and market in the proper places. And with that, I guess kind of a sub of number two is a marketing plan. So and actually, let's make that number three, hiring the right agent, because the right agent's going to have the right marketing plan, and they will understand how he or she will understand how to market your property properly. It's almost a tongue twister. How to really get it out there, right? They're going to know how to get your property in front of actual buyers for your property. You talk about different. Sometimes marketing real estate can be really simple, right? If you've got something under $200,000 right now in the real estate market in Utah, at least Utah County, Salt Lake County, Davis, it usually, as long as it's, if that's its true value, $200,000, it's going to sell fairly quickly. There's a huge market for that. There's a lot of folks looking for a home in that price range. So sometimes selling real estate can be really simple, and finding the right buyer can be fairly easy. The reality is that that's not always the case. It's so often the case that your property is a $500,000 property. You've got a unique multi-unit piece of ground that you need to sell. Understanding value on that, understanding how to market that, where to send it to get it in front of the right parties, can be a difficult quest. And having the right agent on board, the number three item, having the right agent who knows how to create a marketing plan around that property is going to be a key for you in selling the property for the most amount possible in the shortest amount of time possible. And the reality is, no one wants to list a property forever. You want to get the best deal now, or tomorrow, or in the next week, but not in the next year. You don't want to wait that long. Market changes. You don't know what it's going to be like in a year. You want to make sure you're taking advantage of the current market and your current equity in your property. Number four, photos. Excuse me. Photos are huge. You've got to, first impressions. The saying is the first impressions are the only impression, and that's true. So as a buyer, you're looking online. Sorry guys, I've got such been battling a cold in our family. We've had some colds going around, and my throat is dry from talking. So back to number four is photos. You've got to knock it out of the park when it comes to photos. The first impression, right? You've probably been online looking at homes, and as you're scrolling through some new homes in the market, or scrolling through homes in a search, maybe you're doing a search or whatever it is, and you come across a home that has no photos, and even if the price is right, even if it's priced right, and let's say you're looking on the MLS, so it's really on the best, here in Utah County, UtahRealestate.com for kind of northern Utah, it's the right site to sell through. It's where the majority of homes are purchased and marketed and everything like that. So it's the right site. Maybe you've got it priced right, so it's showing up in their criteria, their search criteria. It has no photos though. 50-50. They may not even look at it. They may glance at it to see, like in my mind, depending on what I'm looking for my clients, I'm going to take time to look at that, because I know that may be an opportunity for me. And this is a bad thing for you as a seller, but as an agent, when I'm helping a buyer and I see that there's no photos and it matches everything else as far as the details, I'm going to take an opportunity to pull that home up, review the acreage, review bedrooms, which floor are the bedrooms on. I'm going to review all those details, because I know that you're not getting the right publicity you need without photos. So I know a lot of buyers are actually scrolling past, and you're not getting looked at. You're missing out on valid, qualified buyers for your home when you don't have the right photos. So that's just an advantage for a buyer. Don't do that to yourself. Make sure you have professional photos. Hire somebody, unless you're a professional photographer, hire someone who, is professional, does it for a living, knows, is trained in taking photos for a home. You don't want the wide angle crap. There's a lot of photos, and people, you've probably complained, I complain about it, when they're deceptive. They make something look unreal. They make things look unlike the reality, right? They make it look better, too good beyond what it is, because that first impression, you have these high hopes. A buyer says, like, this home looks sweet, the price is right, let's go look at it. They walk through and it's garbage. They're like, absolutely not even going to consider that home. But if it was reasonable, the pictures were reasonable and expectations were correct, and they walked through and said, you know what, we can fix this. You just have that drastic first impression to real impression. You can't have a big change, and so those photos have to be realistic and professional. Don't skimp on that. You really don't have to spend a lot for professional, like under $200 every time. Unless we're doing like mansions or huge properties that require drone footage or things like that to really show the value and show the the vastness of a property. It's a couple $100 or less. You can really get in there for less depending on what you're doing, but don't skimp on that. It'll always be well worth your investment. You'll make a lot more money with having better photos. Let's see here. I think that's 4, right? Price, locate, like where you market, hiring the right agent with the right plan, photos, and then the 5th thing, and this is, also with the agent, understanding an agent who can help you prepare your home and stage it. Okay, yeah, I remember there's another 6. Okay, so, and this staging and cleanliness goes right in hand with, maybe 6. Let's go number 5 as availability. So, when showing your property, you have to be available. You have to. I guess these go together. 5 and 6, right? Your home has to be available. It has to be ready to show. You don't want to again have awesome photos. So you got it ready for pictures, and the photographer came through, and you didn't clean it again, right? Until someone's coming through a dirty house. Expectations are high with awesome photos. They come through a house that's destroyed. Smells are huge. You want it to smell good, and I know these things may sound funky, or these may not ring true to you, but they make a difference. They really do. A lot of these things can be simple for, if you'll think and put yourself in the shoes of a buyer. If you were to be buying a home, how would you like that to be, right? And then upgrade that a little bit. Make it even better. You want to pop and stand above the rest when it comes to your competition around you. Price is a ton. You've got to seal the deal once they see awesome photos, once the price is right, once they get in your home. You've got to seal the deal with a clean home, with ease of showing. You've got to be able to provide an easy showing opportunity. Often with tenant occupied properties on rentals, when they're occupied by a tenant and it requires 24-hour notice, that's fine. That's a challenge though. Tenants they're not always great. They often will avoid or not respond in time. Maybe I've had tenants that received the notice and then totally said no way, and it takes you a week to go walk through this opportunity for your clients, and it really dampers the opportunity of buying a property. And by the time you get permission to walk through it, guess what? The buyer's found another property elsewhere and they're moving forward with it. So your home's got to be available. You've got to be ready to show it. You need to have the home ready, and that includes staging it if it's vacant is an awesome tool to really show the value and the space better. Show it off. Making sure it's clean. Making sure it smells nice. And I know I've got 4 kids, right, with a family or with pets. These things can be really difficult. They will make a difference. And if you price it right, if you follow these 6 things, 5.5 things, to the T, if you're really pushing all of these things, you're going to sell in the first couple weeks, in the first month, and you're not going to have to be showing so constantly and keeping up that level of cleanliness, or that, hopefully you do. It's always nice to have a clean house, but I understand it's not always possible. And so once you get past that stage, you can relax a little bit and not have to stress quite so much about being available to show. After you go into contract, you're just a couple inspections, walkthroughs, and things like that. Nothing crazy. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Tips, keys for selling anything. These apply to a lot of things because you're going to be posting online. So a lot of these things can be applied to whatever you're selling. So price it right, hire the right person to help get it done, market it properly, make sure it's on the right, that's backwards. Price right, make sure it's make sure you're selling through the right avenues, make sure you hire someone with the right plan who will take it through those avenues and help you stage it, right, and keep it clean and ready, keeping it available, professional photos. Some of those are mixed up, but they all are super important. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you got to the end, leave a comment below about something else maybe that you're interested in real estate, whether it's investments, whether it's strategies, tactics for investing, or first-time home buying, strategies of holding properties while purchasing new properties. How do you do that? How should it happen? Can you sell and buy at the same time? Whatever it is, comment below, and go ahead and subscribe. We're gonna definitely be putting more videos out, but I appreciate you hanging on this long. And like always, if there's anything you need from us here at the Chamberlain Realty Group, when it comes to real estate, we do it all. Reach out. We'd love to help and be a resource for you. Thanks for watching.